South African morning. Now, there's an outcry over Shell's seismic exploration off the west coast. We understand the oil giant will be searching for oil and gas deposits by blasting the ocean bed with acoustic waves. It's seismic gunship. I mean, just listen to the language. The Amazon Warrior, which is fairly ironic, has met with protests as it's docked in Cape Town. Environmental activists saying it will threaten marine life. Of course it will, but how do we stop this? I'm joined by Starr from the Helderberg Ocean Awareness Movement. And Lisa, hello to you. I mean, you just take a listen to the kind of wording we're having to use, and this has been released in statements. Acoustic waves. I understand this gets sent down into the depths of the ocean, but it's going to injure, and let's not be flippant about it, it's going to injure animals that get hit by these wave blasts, isn't it?
Yeah, well, what it will do is it will penetrate at least 40 k's down into the Earth's crust, and it will just be constant banging sounds every 10 seconds, 24/7, which is absolutely horrendous because the marine life uses waves to actually travel through the ocean, to communicate, to hunt, so it's going to send them off on a different journey than they're meant to be going on. They're going to have the young with them as well, also in a migrating time. It's just absolutely horrendous. It's basically like living next door to a neighbour who is firing a gun all day, every day. We as humans would call that disturbing the peace, and we would go to court about it because it's just unacceptable. But obviously the marine life can't take humans to court.
There's been many instances around the world where even ships coming into protected areas are having to cut their engines, their outboard motors, as a way of trying to protect wildlife as well. I think it was David Attenborough was one of the big activists when it came to whales and this kind of noise as well. So it just goes to show how sensitive these animals are, of course, to it. Here's the problem. This is money over the environment again. Do you really feel like you can take on the big boys?
Well, I won't be personally taking on the big boys, but I think that together we are stronger, and if everybody joins forces, we can certainly create change. The Green Connection and Extinction Rebellion and Oceans Not Oil are looking into this legally wise, and hopefully we can get things sped up because we are definitely on borrowed time here.
I'm sure we are. Speaking of borrowed time, time is slightly against me. I want to get to some information from you, Lisa, before I let you go. Anybody watching this, they're angry, they're outraged, as they should be. What can they do to get involved? Where can you send them for them to make themselves useful?
Okay, we've got a few hashtags going around. The first one is hashtag To Hell with Shell. And the second one is hashtag Hands Off the Wild Coast. The Wild Coast is an ecological marvel. It's untouched. The ocean is just brimming there with marine life. So it's very worrying, and people may think it creates jobs, but it's also taking away jobs. People that are living off the land there and actually being self-sustainable, which is what we all need to start doing a bit more of. It's actually the answer, because the whales and all those animals, I mean, whales create, feed phytoplankton from their poop, which creates our oxygen. So we're actually harming ourselves. Nature makes the world go round and keeps spinning on its axle, not us or not money.
It's always been a case, I believe, that they were here long before all of us arrived. We have no right to go out and destroy their worlds. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. Starr from the Helderberg Ocean Awareness Movement. I'm sure you would have heard the first hashtag that you can go and follow regarding Shell Oil Company as well, but you can go look for that, I'm sure, Tamela. A lot of people are going to start Googling this as we get closer and closer to what's going to be a very worrying event for environmentalists and the environment.
Absolutely.